All right, all right, all right. Okay, so there's a comment on a video that I recently made. I'm gonna just cut the title or that on this video of me going over the uh, divorce between Destiny and Melina. There's a comment on here that just kind of annoys me. If I'm being honest, kind of annoys me. Absolutely annoys me. Actually, is a better term here because it does. It does. Hope you guys can see that good enough. Actually, real quick. All right. I didn't change it. Okay. So, first things first, the comment, this was like yesterday, as noted by the time. And the person said, relationships are closed because relationships refer to, in parentheses, how two individuals regard and or associate with to one another. Example, friendship is a form of relationship. If you have a friend, your relationship or friendship with said individual is closed. However, that doesn't mean you're limited to only have one friendship at any given time, because relationship refers to how two individuals, you and said friend, regard and or associate with to one another. When Destiny refers to being in an open relationship, he refers to the fact that they also apply the same practices to romantic relationships. And then I had commented afterwards saying that, yes, because that. Oh, wait, hold on. Whoa, I had a stroke. Okay. I then replied saying, yes, but that doesn't work as those are two different definitions, definitions between friendship and marriage or relationship. Those are all different definitions. And definitions cannot refer to themselves as being the definition. You cannot define relationship by using the term relationship, in other words. And I made an example. I'm not going to say those words because don't need demonetization. But they refer to the same thing, but one is of a derogatory term while the other is not necessarily. They both mean the same thing, but one was made for the specific reason to be disrespectful. This would also be the reason for why the term friends with benefits exists and it's not just called friends, because if it was just called friends, then there wouldn't be any romantic attachment to it, which is why it is called friends with benefits. But that is it. It's not called marriage, it's not called relationship, it's just called friends with benefits. It's friends, a relationship, a friendship, in other words, but with benefits. But it's why that term exists, because if it wasn't different, then it would just be called friends. And if you want to take that logic past to the fullest, then Melina might as well have just said that I have a bunch of friends, but this is my best friend, while referring to Destiny. And probably the biggest difference between friendship and marriage in this context is that friends always change their positioning within your circle. One friend can go from being a common follower to being someone, perhaps a man with a plan, on another day. One friend can go from just being a friend to then being a friends with benefits. And how this differs is how marriage, or the ring in and of itself, is meant to be a physical signifier of a bond between two people. Something that once existed invisibly between two people, now shared by a physical signifier being a ring or a bond in other words. I do not and would never and will never be putting a ring upon everyone who I decide to invite into my sheets or theirs likewise. Marriage is meant to be, I'm gonna cut this part out because he then responds back, but as you see with the first, second, third, fourth, he responds to each and every single point I made. But I could have made a reply, but I didn't want to because, I mean, it's free content, and also because I just don't know how to put this into words exactly, or words that are nice, I guess. I can't. But anywho, he then says, okay, so when I say that Yes, but that doesn't work because there are two different definitions, and definitions cannot refer to themselves as being the definition. The problem is that and then he says, the problem is that we're talking about the differences between friendship and marriage. Friendship is the association between two individuals in a non-threatening manner. Okay, I first want to tackle that part. That could literally be almost any kind of relationship between two people. Almost any. Like, just being amiable with, or amiable. That's not the right word. Hold on. I'm dumb here. Amiable. Open and responsive. No, that could literally be someone who is amiable with another person. That could just be like a coworker. That could literally be a whole spectrum of friendship. You just defined there. Like, what did I hit? Oh my goodness. I hit a button and I didn't like it. Okay, hold on. Anywho, this part right here could literally be, or sorry, this part right here could literally be put into almost any kind of relationship, except for the specific relationships that are not like that, like an enemy. That's a relationship between two people that is in a threatening manner or in some sort of manner of sort. And then he says, marriage is the association between two individuals in a romantic manner. Okay, if that was the only defining trait of marriage, then why do we have the term friends with benefits? Oh, you mean to tell me that friends don't have a romantic manner at all between them? At all? No, that word exists for no reason other than to just, benefits. Woo! They both are a subcategory of they both are a subcategory of a relationship. Therefore, they both fit under the definition of relationship. Yes, they are both a subcategory of relationship. The difference here is that relationship has its own definition, friendship has its own definition, and marriage has its own definition. They all have their own definitions. The only thing is that the two fit under relationship. That doesn't mean they're the same thing, because if they were, then it would just be called a relationship. They're different because they have different definitions. I'm not incorrect. I have no idea what you even mean by unfortunately I'm incorrect. I'm literally not on that point. And then he says, second, when you say those two words refer to the same thing, and then try to use that analogy to compare friendship and marriage, the issue is that the analogy doesn't work because those two words can refer to the same thing, whereas friendship and marriage can, by definition, cannot refer to the same thing. You literally just pointed out how marriage and friendship are a subcategory of a relationship. Both of these things are literally, this word right here, this one right here, is a subcategory of this. It means the goddamn same thing. It's just a subcategory of that to be specifically derogatory. These two words are they both refer to the same thing. They're just different because one refers to being in a marriage with someone and the other one is being a friend with someone. Like, how do you write this shit and then not actually think about what you're fucking writing? I don't get it. Okay, and then the third is, when you say friends always change their positioning within your circle when implying that the interaction between friends being dynamic, the same thing can happen in a marriage because the interaction between spouses in a relationship also tend to dynamically change. I might be the one that leads more often, but my spouse might have more practice in shopping, therefore taking the lead. I have no idea what you're fighting here. You are fighting ghosts. Okay. What did I say here exactly? Okay. Hold on. Okay, probably is different. Okay. Yep. Okay, so the thing here is in this context. The point here I made is in this context, which the context we're making here between Destiny and Melina is them having a open relationship, having coitus with other people. That's the context that we're in here, not the context of you taking the lead and going, not shopping one day, whereas you taking the lead doing something else. That's not what we're talking about. You are fighting ghosts here. What I mean by friends being dynamic is one friend can go from just being a friend to that one friend, then can possibly become a friends with benefits. One person in a marriage doesn't all of a sudden become one person in marriage without coitus. Because they're in a fucking marriage. What you'd call that is a coitusless marriage. I'm trying to really not get demonetized or whatever, but I have no idea what words are good and what words are bad, so I feel like a child saying coitus, if I'm being honest. Anywho, then he says, fourth, when you say marriage, or the ring in and of itself, it is meant to be physical, significant, okay, you at least acknowledge that the ability to do so exists. Wait, what? Hold on, wait. I have no idea how this acknowledges the ability to do it. If you decide to put a ring on anyone who comes into your bed, then you're making a mistake, both monetary, I can't English, god damn it. Once again, I think you are fighting ghosts here. The thing is Melina's not putting a ring on everybody she has coitus with. She put a ring on Destiny. In an open relationship, which that term can't exist because a relationship is by definition closed. If I have to use my other comment I made on here. Going over the fact that a marriage is about being exclusive, physically, mentally, and emotionally with someone. Whoops, wrong button. And what I mean by that is trying to explain myself, trying to figure out where I was on this. Okay. Half of me also just wants to skip this because I don't know how to exactly answer this because you're not making a point. You're literally fighting ghosts here. Like, what do you mean the ability to do so? Like, do you mean that there are actually people who do this? Because that seems very irresponsible, you know? Kind of like a mistake asking to happen. Like, you see a bear trap, and then you're like, ooh, I wonder if that bear trap is live. And then you go step on it, and, oh, turns out it was. Kind of thing. Like, what? I acknowledge the ability to do so. Why would anybody do this? You know what? I guess you're right. It's an I don't feel like doing so thing. You're right, I guess. I don't know how, because by definition, relationships are closed, and when you go and find a new person, that's not really being closed. That's kind of like one side is closed and the other side is like open. So, I mean, sure, I guess you're right on the I don't feel part, but at the same point, you're still wrong because it's like definitions are not exactly bendable. Not in the way that you want. Like, definitions exist to define certain things. Like, anywho, when you say marriage is meant to be an exclusive thing between two people that is recognized by the community, okay, to make their personal bond connect between themselves, that is meant to create an inseparable connection between those two individuals. He then says, exactly, they have a unique relationship. One can have a relationship with one wife/husband the same way that they can have a second marriage with a second wife/husband. Having one wife doesn't mean marriage is exclusive to that person. It means that that particular marriage form of relationship is a unique relationship between those two people. When you have a marriage with one person and another person, the term marriage all of a sudden becomes not unique. There we go. That's my stance on that. Like, what? A marriage with multiple people, you immediately removed the reason why it's unique. It's not unique at that rate. It's basically just saying, once again, calling everyone a friend, but this one, or Destiny, is my best friend. That's literally what I pointed out. Like, you immediately remove the uniqueness of a marriage by having multiple, or having multiple within that marriage. That's not unique anymore. That's just not unique. It's called friends with benefits at that rate. Okay, and then he says, when you say to become one flesh, that's just some religious term that people use for some reason, because in reality they don't become one flesh, so it's just wrong, and religion just needs a reality check. My friend, do you know what metaphors are? Apparently not, I guess. Apparently anything is now just religious. Like, I mean, sure, you're right, it is religious, it does come from the Bible, but it's also just a fucking metaphor. Like the physical bond or the ring is meant to be a connection between two people, two individuals. Doesn't matter where they are, it is meant to be a connection, an inseparable connection. So it's meant to connect two people to be one. It's a fucking metaphor. I don't know how difficult that is to understand. Like, remove the religious context of it. It's just a fucking metaphor. And to be fair, marriage in and of itself is religious. That's the whole entire purpose of it. That was the reason why it was created, to be for religious people. Or religion, in other words. Nowadays, it's because of the government. You get free tax shit, but it, at one point, or at the very beginning, was specifically for the reason of being connected spiritually. So I don't, like, we're talking about marriage. I bring up something that is within that same context, and then you say for some reason that we need to reality check that, and it's also wrong, even though it's not. Once again, you're fighting ghosts with absolutely no one. Okay, and then the last point is, when you say their marriage wasn't a marriage, but rather just two friends calling each other best friends and then carved a heart into a tree with their names carved into the heart, that's what we would call your opinion. You're absolutely right. That is my opinion. But it's still the correct word, or correct opinion. As far as I'm aware, they were married, but they called it an open relationship because, one, if Destiny wanted to get married to other person, he could, and if Melina wanted to get married to another person, she could. Once again, you're removing the uniqueness of that word. Where is the unique? Yeah, you removed the uniqueness of that marriage by having multiple. Once again, this brings back to a religion, two people becoming one. It's not four people becoming two, it's two people becoming one, because that's a better number. And it's a lot more holistic than the four or two. So, yeah, you're right, it is my opinion. And at the same time, my opinion is the correct one. I don't know what you want me to say on this. Like, their marriage wasn't a marriage. It was just two friends calling each other best friends. And then going and fucking other friends. Like, I don't know what you want from me on this. Okay, and then he says, because marriage is just a form of relationship. You're damn skippy about that. But at the same time, they're acting a lot more like friends with benefits than just a marriage. Ta-da! Sorry, I had to make this video, because I could have made a comment, it would have been really long, and I know it would have been, because I like to write a lot, obviously. But I'm just so confused. How do you write that much and then not read what you're writing to see if it still makes sense from your previous points you made? Like, at one point you said that they're both a subcategory of a relationship, and then you just then you took my example and then thought those couldn't be a subcategory. Do you not think that this word can be a subcategory of this word? Because it can. Do you know the word hoe and this word are both subcategories of this word? They just have their own terms because they mean two different things. That's why they have their own definitions. Hoe is meant to specifically be, I forget what the exact definition is, but it is just as derogatory as whore, but it, man, I'm so flippant with my words. I don't even notice when I'm saying them. But hoe is basically this, just in a much more informal version. That's why it has a different definition. It's informal of this. Like, they have their own definitions, yet they're both still a subcategory of this. They both refer to the same thing. Like, and then you saying friendship and marriage by definition cannot refer to the same thing. You just said that they're both a subcategory of relationship. Do you know how a subcategory is existing? Because they both refer to the category, to the main category. They are both a subversion of the main category. Just as much as hoe or this word are both subcategories of this word. They mean the same goddamn thing, but they have their own terms because they're two different terms. They still refer to the same thing, but they're different. Anywho, if you agree, do you have any comments, statements, go down in the comments, say them. I don't know. I don't know if you have anything to say about this. This is a whole entire rant, and I don't know what, but if you liked it, hit that subscribe button, join the bread bag community, and if you want, hit that like button as well, so that people who may not have seen this video can see it now. And then, therefore, join the bread box community, because we need more bread. And I hope to see you in the next video. But until then, have a good one.